This week on Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke, we share a community special. Seattle's Young Adult Stroke Support Group is for the young and young at heart and is led by Jessica Partnow and Scott Brody. In today's episode, stroke survivors share recovery insights. They talk about self-advocacy, healing mantras, effective communication, and finding gratitude in everyday moments. Whether you're navigating your own recovery journey or supporting someone who is, this episode offers practical wisdom and tools for personal growth. Thank you for joining us for our community special with Seattle's Young Adult Stroke Survivor Group.
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke. Stroke offers a powerful, life-changing shift in perspective. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. Beyond Stillness offers a moment of pause for storytelling and reflection. Ultimately, Beyond Stillness is a welcoming environment that reveres the moment beyond stroke's paralysis. Still moments unite humanity and divinity. I'm your host, Molly Bucola. As we begin today, we take a moment of pause to reflect on ways that wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope have come to light in our own recoveries. And we give thanks. Now, members of Seattle's Young Adult Stroke Survivor Group offer their wisdom that has emerged through recovery.
I'll share out a little as a care partner, especially because we just did this intensive speech program. And I think the first year, there's a lot of survival and days that we still feel like we're in survival mode. And I think my first year, it was about gratitude and understanding that gratitude feeds optimism and, really kind of focusing on that. And then I think after the camp and just a year and a half later, that part of the evolution for me anyway is just settling into it. And now I have a Post-it note that says progress over prognosis, because for a long time you want to understand what it means to have had a stroke. And now what does it look like? And every journey is different. And you can drive yourself crazy, what you want it to look like. And it's nice to compare stroke stories, because certainly there's so much that is shared, but at the same time, each person's journey is different. And so I think the empowerment of looking forward now, jumping into that next stage of progress, and having goals and expectations, but not unrealistic expectations that aren't based on what we know, because we don't know, and kind of letting go of the returning to whatever was happening before. And instead we have this new chapter and this new life, and what's to come is unknown and can be exciting and adventurous.
Letting go and what's to come. Thank you, Tricia.
It's not 100% always feeling that, but it's a bit of a mantra or, something to guide us.
Yeah.
One of the things I've really bonded on with the people in this group and other survivors who I've met, is that feeling of wanting someone to be your go-to in charge stroke person that you can just go to with your questions, your fears, your worries, your concerns. And you realize at some point that that person, or I did, that person's not there, that I'm that person, that I'm the best authority on myself that there is. And for me, that was very empowering, not only learning that, but also being able to voice that and to be my own advocate with doctors and in healthcare, physical therapy. If something wasn't explained to me well, I demanded an explanation. If there wasn't an answer, which is more likely the scenario, and I demand answers, but there just aren't any, then it's up to me to approach my recovery in the most positive way, to just get out any obstacles out of the way to taking care of myself, so that whatever the answer is to those questions, I can look back and say, you know what, I've done my best. I'm not perfect, but I have been conscious and aware, and I've put my best into this thing, into myself and into my future. Really, that's the most like enlightening thing for me. The light bulb moment was, you know what, this is your life, this is your time, this is right now, this is your future. There's not a moment to waste.
Mm. Thanks, Scott.
I heard a couple of things in the other people sharing that I really resonate with. And one is gratitude. I have often, I'll start walking and darn, I wish I could walk better, or whatever. Then I always go back to gratitude. What am I grateful for? And I think that really helps. And I try to avoid, first of all, I'm grateful that my stroke was not worse than it is. And I don't want to compare myself to other people, but I really am grateful that I have what I have now. The other thing is, as Scott said, I've got a little sticky note above my desk that I'm doing the best I can. And that really helps me a lot too. The other thing is that I have had to give up a lot because of my stroke. I can't bike ride anymore. My sailing days are limited. Also, because of my age, just becoming 80, there's a lot that I have to give up. But when I started writing about the reflections, I've been doing a lot of writing. One thing I've been writing about is reflections on turning 80. And I started writing about all the things I'm giving up. And then I realized I want to start with, what I'm grateful for in my life, or looking back at my life and seeing I had a wonderful life from the beginning. I really had a wonderful life. I've done so many things. I've been to so many countries. I've been able to sail in many places around the world. There's so many things that I'm grateful that I've had, and that's where I started out. And I really think the writing really helps. I would really recommend that for everybody. I'm working with a writers group, and I've written some wonderful things. I recently have been starting writing poems, and I wrote a poem recently about I don't want to die. I also wrote a poem about not giving up. I will go on. I'd be happy to share those poems because I'm very glad that I've done those. So I think that for many people, if you can't do a lot of the things physically that you used to do, writing is a great avenue. And that's what I've found. Thanks.
Amazing what we find in our writing when we let it go.
Yeah.
I'll share something that Scott made me think of when he was talking about how he learned that that person was himself. I've really learned to advocate for myself, but maybe not in the ways that people would think, like with doctors and stuff, but just for, let me see if I can describe it. I am so fortunate to be surrounded by people who love me and support me. And so when I have these moments where it seems like I might need something, like if I can't remember a word, people are so quick to like jump in and start just like saying all these words to help me find the right one, which sometimes I appreciate and I need. And then other times I want the space to try to think of it myself. And so I find myself in those moments, and I've learned to tell the people around me, like, what do I need them? Like, if I want the space to find the word myself, then I'm like, wait, give me a second. And then, sometimes I have to think about it for like 60 seconds, and sometimes it comes to me and sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't come to me, then I'm like, okay, help me here. Because if somebody gives me the word, then I remember it from that point forward. But every situation is different. Sometimes I want help, and sometimes I want space to do it myself. And it may take me longer, but I know I can do it and I want to do it. So I've learned just to be really clear, like, hey, I need somebody to walk me to the bathroom because I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to find my way back. And sometimes I'm like, I'm going to do this myself and look at every single thing so I can find my way back, and just let me do this, please. So I've learned to just be really clear with that versus just being quiet and letting people help me. And then again, I know it comes from a place of love and support, and I'm just so grateful. And so I just try to let people know, when do I need help and when do I need space? And that's helped me a lot.
Communication is sometimes hard, knowing what we want or we need. Thanks for sharing, Jessica.
As someone who was non-disabled for the first 28 years of my life, on reflecting on what I've learned, I now realize how much of my really debilitating distress early on about my change in functioning was the result of internalized ableism. That I didn't have examples of people in my life who had significant disabilities that were doing things that I wanted to see myself doing in the future. I think that early on, there is like a gentleness that needs to be had, because I don't think a lot of people early on, I included, would not have wanted to be told that I would have been disabled. I don't think I would have been open to receiving that, but I do think that there is a gentle kindness to help people understand that, like, where you're at is your new baseline, and we can help you see what improvements you can make. But comparing yourself to that pre-stroke self is only going to cause you distress. It's not going to be really that useful. You can be grateful for the skills that you had before your stroke, but that constant comparison can kind of continue to eat away at you. And so, like Barry said, like, finding the things that you're grateful for, finding the things, for me, when I was in the hospital, starting to make a list of what are the improvements that I noticed? What are the things that I can do now that I couldn't do day one after my stroke? Now I can do X, now I can do Y, and I continued that list for about a year after my stroke, kind of continuing to document things that I was not able to do that then I was slowly able to do over time. And that has been helpful for me to, years later, go back and reflect on it, like, oh, those were things. And, taking moments even in the shower, now that I can stand in the shower, of like, that wasn't a guarantee, that wasn't something I was able to do, and just kind of take a breath and be grateful that I can stand. Yeah, I need to hold on to something if I have my eyes closed, but I can do this. I can and am able to do things now that I wasn't able to do early on.
Taking note of those improvements. Thank you. Thank you, Whitney.
I've had a theme throughout my recovery of being amazed by humans. And I went into my stroke 8 years into a drug addiction and suicidal depression period of my life that I did not see the other side of. When I had my stroke, I was able to really be ripped out of that 8-year cycle of spiritual death. I don't even know what to call it. But at any rate, I show up at the hospital. No one knows this about me. They know I've had a stroke. And one person after another just gave me wonderful care and love and support. And the theme that there was like, gosh, it's just amazing what people have accomplished, that something like this can happen to you and you can be taken to a place and a group of people that are there to help you. Seeing what people are capable of, a lot of times you see the negative stuff, but it really was, for me, like an eye-opening moment of just pride in my species of people, that we have this developed. however many years it took, it happened. It's just not that easy to work with people and to get this stuff done. Sometimes the awe was something that I did not have before, that being a stroke survivor and going through this process really helped me to experience. And I couldn't be more thankful for that lesson.
Quite a journey, Scott. We bring into this our experiences, heart from before the stroke, and in ways we're transformed. Thank you.
I'm not sure how much real wisdom there is in this, but I think it's sort of wise, I guess. Within a couple of years of my stroke, I was referred to and started working with a rehab psychologist at the University of Washington. And where I sort of ended up, I'm not sure she was really trying to teach me this, but what I sort of learned from her was, in recovery, your brain will heal itself to some extent over time, but you also have to do things to try and help it along. So I sort of developed this theme of kind of work on it and wait on it, because you can't just do therapy to get sort of the maximum improvement. You also can't just wait to get sort of the maximum improvement. You have to sort of work on stuff, but you can't just knock yourself out working on things. You also have to sort of give your brain some time to kind of move along at its own pace and heal itself, or at least to the extent that it can heal parts of itself. So that was my sort of mantra for many years of seeing this rehab psychologist, was kind of just work on it and wait on it. And I used to tell her we could become millionaires if we marketed this sort of plan. We could have like videos and workshops and a web page. That's kind of my philosophy, or that's where it evolved to after several years.
Thank you, Andrew. Each of you have such great mantras, things that you've put on note cards to put. Barry, you said you had a sticky note on your computer. Andrew, you have work on it and wait on it.
I have a note above my computer that just simply reads, "Is this helpful?" ? And then underneath it, breathe. Because I think one of the things that I've noticed is just needing to slow down. Like, is this useful? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but regardless, it's important to remember to just slow down and breathe.
I have a mantra from before the stroke that I never heeded, but it's a really good one. You are a worthy recipient. Got another one from a t-shirt, and I'm not sure where this one came from, but I love it. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is voluntary. Both of those really hit hard for me and have been inspirational at times that are difficult. So love mantras. I'd love to hear anyone's mantras. Bring me the mantras.
I really like the slow down and breathe mantra. I I get in trouble sometimes when I open my mouth and say something stupid to my partner, my husband, and then it just goes on from there. So if I could really remember to slow down and breathe before I respond, I think that would be really helpful.
Agreed. It's very difficult for me to. It's easier, oddly enough, in a group like this to relax than it is by myself sometimes. But yeah, I enjoyed the meditation too.
I am very grateful that you invited me here, Scott, and the rest of the group. Thank you for sharing today. It's a journey. It's a long journey, and there are struggles along the way, and there are moments that just feel like the winds at our back. So thank you for sharing both. Storytelling empowers us to share our perspectives in a way that invites others to reflect on their own. In closing, we offer reflection questions as an opportunity to spark dialogue with yourself, friends, family, or fellow stroke survivors. I will read questions aloud, and you can also find them written in the podcast episode description. Community conversation prompts. What wisdom has emerged through your own recovery? How has your perspective shifted over time? What is your hope for fellow stroke survivors? We challenge you to use these questions this week to spark dialogue. Cultivate community.
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org. Another way to support is to like, share, or subscribe to our weekly show. Again, thank you for devoting time and space for this week's episode of Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke.
Thank you for listening to our community special with Seattle's Young Adult Stroke Survivor Group. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. We hope the insights shared today inspire you on your own path. Whether you're a stroke survivor, care partner, or simply seeking wisdom, Seattle's Young Adult Stroke Survivor Group reminds us that recovery could be fueled by intentional advocacy, clear communication, powerful mantras, and gratitude. Thank you for joining us for this conversation, and may these insights empower you this week and beyond. As part of the stroke community, you are more than supportive. You are inspirational. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with others and consider donating to Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke.
If you are part of the stroke community and have a story you'd like to share on the show, please contact us. Email molly@beyondstillness.org.